For the first time since 2012, we are officially in a buyer's market. We now have officially over 1,000 houses on the market for sale here in Bellingham and our entire county. So if you want to know what this means for your move here to Bellingham, or if you're looking at buying or selling here in our area, this video is for you. So once again, guys, my name is Aldo. I'm here. I'm a local realtor with the LeVain Real Estate Team here in Bellingham and Whatcom County. I'm bringing you this market report where I'm comparing Q2 of 2024 to Q2 of 2025. So this year and what's happening in the last 3 months. I usually do this video every 4 times a year, but since the market is shifting so much, I'm probably gonna start doing these once a month just to keep you updated on exactly what is going on. So let's get into the numbers. And if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And if you're moving here, let me know what other stats that you are looking for or what is important to you when you move to Bellingham, whether that's community related or real estate related as well. Okay, so for the average sold price here in Whatcom County, it's $664,000, and that's essentially the exact same from last year. We're up about 1%, which was $657,000 last year. In Bellingham, the average sold price is $774,000. Again, not much higher than it was last year around this time. So we're starting to see that increase is just very minimal, maybe 1% or 2% every single month compared to last year. Now, this is where things are getting interesting, and it's all about the inventory. So in Whatcom County, we have 1,033 homes available to purchase right now, and this is July of 2025. And that's up a big 50% from last year, which is massive. And that's up about 25% from just 2 months ago. We were hovering around 700 homes or so, 750 homes available on the market back in April, and now we have over 1,000 homes, which is pretty crazy. So months of inventory, for those of you that don't know, if we were to stop listing any houses, how long would it take us to actually get rid of that inventory? And right now it's at 3.4 months, and last time I did this, we were right around 3.1 months. So as you can see, we definitely have the inventory that is growing. For days on market, how long will it take for me to sell my house here in Whatcom County? That's gonna be about 38 days. Last year, it was right around 28 days. So we have seen a good 25-30% increase on how much longer it's gonna take to sell your house here. Now, interesting stat that I always like going over, and it's the list to sale price. So how much percentage is my house gonna sell for compared to the list price? On average, right now is 98%. So that means on average in Whatcom County, if you're gonna list your house, you're probably gonna sell it for about 2% less than what you listed it for. So if you're listing it for $700,000, you're probably gonna sell it for about $14,000 or less or so. Now, I'm really interested on how this stat is gonna change for next month and for the next 2 months. It depends on how many sales we get, but I could see this percentage going down. It may not be by a lot, could be by 1%, but now you take away 1% from 700,000, now you're at 3%, it could be about $21,000 or so that you may not be getting compared to what you list for. So for now in Bellingham, things do look a little bit different. The average days on market is about 25 days. So we are still seeing that it's not taking 1 to 2 weeks or so to sell your house here in Bellingham, which is nice. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some very good houses in some core neighborhoods where homes will sell fairly fast within those 4 or 5 days. But right now we're seeing an average about 25 days or so. And we've actually seen that in Bellingham, the core area of Bellingham, not including Sudden Valley, is that homes are selling for pretty damn near full price. Right now it's showing 100%. Does that always happen? No, it's not always 100%. Now you have to know I am comparing this quarter to last year's quarter. So things are a little bit different, and it's just a lot of data that we're actually going through. So when I do this video again next month and I'm comparing the June stats, I think we're gonna start seeing more different numbers because we've seen a lot of inventory grow, but we don't have enough data that what's happening with those numbers, right? We've just started seeing this spike here earlier this month. And I think that's one of the things that has surprised me is that inventory has grown so quickly within the last 30 to 45 days. That came because June, all of a sudden it came, and the real estate market, I don't want to say that it halted, but it slowed down. And we saw a lot of listings just staying on the market and not selling really fast like we normally did. The last time I could kind kind of compare this to was back in 2022 when interest rates started to rise past 3.5%, 4%. It hit us in June where we saw about 250 to 300 homes on the market, and then it spiked up to 600 homes on the market, which is very similar. But this is where I think the advantage is. So if you're still listening to this video and you're looking at buying or if you're looking at selling, listen up, because this is where I think you really need to hear me out on what's happening in our market. So if you're looking at buying right now, one thing you have to just accept is that interest rates may not be getting any lower. That's kind of what the realization is. But after now having 1,000 homes for sale, you're gonna have the pick of the litter. You're gonna be able to go and take a look at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses and make a really well-informed decision. Not only that, you're gonna have the time. And if you're looking at buying a house and it's $700,000, as we've seen, you might be able to get $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off that price. Maybe it's off the price, maybe some of that goes towards your closing costs and or getting your interest rate to get bought down. So there's definitely a lot of advantages, especially when it comes to a 2-1 buy down. Now, buyers, this is the time for you. The interest rates aren't getting lower. Home prices are starting to settle a little bit. The market will not crash, so there's nothing that you need to wait for, but you need to take advantage of buying a house. And maybe some of these houses that are out there right now that have been sitting for 30, 60, even 90 days and trying to go out and maybe saving $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on some of these houses, you'll never be able to buy a house that much lower. And if rates come down, then you can refinance maybe in 1 year, maybe it could be in 3 or 4 years, but at least you'll be able to buy that house for a really good price. So keep that in mind if you're out there. And if you're moving here to Bellingham, keep that in mind that you're gonna be able to have a really good set of inventory here and reach out to us because again, I'm a local realtor. We'd love to help you out. So if you're looking at selling your house here in Bellingham, listen up. There are still gonna be some buyers out there, but the number one thing you're gonna have to remember and you're gonna have to do is be very competitive. The great thing about this market for you, if you're looking at selling and buying, is that you're gonna be able to list your home and actually get a contingent offer accepted. 2, 3 years ago, you couldn't do that. You had to go ahead and either just stay in your home, you had to get a bridge loan, you had to get a HELOC, you had to gamble the chance of trying to find a house and buying that. And having the ability to even do that in the first place is difficult. And then list your home after you bought your first home, which is very, very hard. And contingency offers were never even accepted, and maybe on some very few homes. Now in this market, you can do that. A lot of you have a lot of equity. Anybody who's bought before 2021, you're probably at least 30 to 50% in equity, which is massive. The thing you do have to remember though, you will have to be competitive in your list price. This is no longer 2021, and stop thinking you're going to get the top dollar for your home. It's not gonna happen. You either are gonna want to sell your house as fast as you can or for the most amount of money. And guess what? The reality is you can't get both. You can't sell it super fast and you can't get the most amount of money for your home. Again, dependent on the neighborhood and the condition of your house, but majority of the houses here, if you're trying to sell, that's not gonna happen. Again, talk to us. Obviously, I don't know who or where you're living at, so that could be different for everybody. So just make sure you're pricing your house very, very competitively. Okay, so in other news, I wanted to share this story. This is happening locally here in Bellingham, but also across the US, and it has to do with Compass Realty and what they're doing with their private listings. And a lot of you that are looking at selling, this is for you homeowners and home sellers, is Compass is trying to have a marketing tactic saying essentially like, hey, we will try to market your house off market and trying to get you off market deals, and you'll be able to get X amount more for your listing, which now they have gone and in trouble. They're in lawsuits right now. They're trying to sue the Northwest MLS, which is part of the MLS that we're in right now, because the Northwest MLS does not allow off-market marketing. Essentially, you can do off-market deals, that's fine, but you can't do any sort of pre-listing marketing. If I were to say coming soon, hey, I have this 123 U Street, this house is coming on the market next week, I get fined, I can lose my license. And essentially what Compass is trying to do is they're trying to go to a seller and saying, hey, we have a private network of buyers that want to buy your house, and we have this huge exclusivity, and you're gonna get more for your house, and yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever it may be. And people are buying it, and I don't understand why. Because if you're only showing your house to a small group of buyers compared to the entire MLS and to all the real estate agents, if I was a home seller, I want my house marketed to everybody who is looking. That means on Zillow, on Redfin, on Realtor.com. And if you don't get that exposure, exposure, how else are you gonna get exposure? Yeah, you might have one buyer wanting to buy your house for the amount that maybe you're wanting, but what if there was 2 or 3 other buyers out there that can't see your house on Zillow, on Redfin.com, all these major platforms, and us real estate agents who are out there looking and searching for you as well. So in my encouragement, I don't think that if you're trying to list your house here with Compass, that they're looking out for the best in your interest. They're trying to network it to their private buyers. And in my case, the way I look at things is the listing agent and Compass is trying to represent both sides. Not only will they get commission on the listing side, but also on the buying side. And honestly, I don't think that's the best representation, and I don't see how that's the best of interest in you as a seller. So keep that in mind. If some of you guys are out there and you're interviewing a Compass agent, question it a little bit. Obviously up to you on what you guys want to do. Not something that I would highly recommend, but keep that in mind. I don't understand how this is going through. Zillow themselves have even started to say if they keep going through this, they will not market any of Compass's listings in the future on their website. And Zillow is the #1 portal for people search for homes, which is insane. And to do something that could cause a lot of damage to a lot of their clients is pretty crazy. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this month's market report. And I hope I made it clear on what's happening here in our real estate market in Bellingham. And for those of you that are looking at relocating or looking at buying and selling here in our area, the buyer's market shift is real. So if there's something that I didn't make clear, or if there's more information that you guys want, let's sit down, let's talk about it. All my information will be in the description down below. Reach out to us, call, text, email us whenever you're ready, whether you're looking at buying, selling, or moving to the area. So we'd love to help you guys out. Once again, my name's Aldo. I'm here with the LeVain Real Estate Team here in Bellingham, and we'll see you next time.